Hey guys, what's up? This is Kobe, and I just want to congratulate Optic Gaming for coming in top 3. I really didn't think they were gonna come in top 4, to be honest with you. I thought that, if they came in like 5th or 6th, I thought that would be a really good showing for them based on all the practices, LAN events, online practices. They just didn't seem like, they were really gelling that well, but I don't know what it was, but that first day in pool play was okay. They made out a pool play not as the top. I think they lost to Epsilon, but that after they came out of pool, they were seeded. The first team they were playing was TK, which I had visions of Optic getting knocked to the losers bracket right away, and then possibly not even making like top 8, but they really came to play. I think that land practice they had with SB really paid off. And I know TK didn't have as much practice on land as some of the other teams. And it really showed because Optic basically 3-0'd them in the winners bracket. And so I was really proud of Optic for, knocking TK out. And the second round wasn't any easier. They had to play SB. But again, the land practice with SB at the Optic House really helped out because they were actually able to knock him out in I think they knocked him out in map 5, I think the last map. So the other matches in the winners bracket Optic had to win was against Trident. It was an Australian team, which was very unusual for a third round winners bracket match. I think this was the only non-American team that made top 8, and they actually handled that team pretty easily, 3-1, and they made it to the fourth round, which was the semifinals, to make it to the championship, I guess upper bracket championship final, and they played Complexity. And to be honest with you, I think Optic should have taken that. They were up 2-1. And then they had a lead, I think like a 17-point lead on Sovereign Dom on the first side. And they really fell apart in that second half. And they really got demolished. And that it seemed to take the sail out of, the wind out of the sail of the Optic members. And they lost the fifth map, which was domination. SND. And they on Warhawk, and they lost 6-0 against Complexity. And if you look at the last two maps, Embos and Nate really stunk it up. Embos and Nate went triple negative on Sovereign Dom, and Scump and Clay just couldn't do it, but just the two of them. And then on the Search and Destroy on a Warhawk, Embos I think had like. Embos I think has literally 0 kills, and Nate I think had maybe 1 kill, and they just really mentally broke down as a team, and really I feel like they gave that away to Complexity, and that's the thing that separates Complexity with the rest of all the other teams is when the pressure is on, when their backs are against the wall, it seems like they have another gear, like they can take it to another level. Whereas a lot of teams, they fold, or they're not really playing, or they're not really pushing their play up to another level. It's like Complexity has this gear. It's not so much their skill level. It's just more like the mental aptitude goes up when the pressure is really on, and that's what makes that team so great. Now, obviously, I'm a huge Optic fan, and again. I take nothing away from Optic. They did a tremendous job. Even after they lost to Complexity, I really thought they were going to come out of the losers bracket. All they had to do was beat Envious, and they pretty much got pounded by Envious. I mean, there were some close maps, but overall, Envy played much better than Optic. It just seemed like they were still dwelling on what they gave away to Complexity, and they just mentally, couldn't bring it. Which leads me to the finals. And, Envious beat Optic 3-1 in the losers bracket. And Complexity just demolished Envious. It wasn't even close. It was 3-0. I don't know what to say. Envy, I gotta give props to them. They lost the first match in bracket play, and they had to come from the losers bracket all the way to make it to the finals. On their journey, they had to be TK, SB, Optic Gaming. So many great teams they had to beat to get there, and they shouldn't be ashamed of their performance. They played more matches than anybody. I think, yeah, they played more matches, I believe, than anybody in the tournament. And that team, if you look at that roster, you really got to think about it. Nameless was dropped from LV. Study is a new guy they picked up. Merc was dropped from Optic, and Rambo was going to be a coach. He was going to retire. And who would have thunk that this roster would have made it to the finals of COD Champs? I mean, I don't think anybody thought that. And, the most embarrassing performance in the whole tournament has to go to TK. They lost to both Optic in the first round of bracket play, and then when they went to losers bracket, they lost to Envious, and they're out of the tournament. They lost both their matches, and they're gone. And, it doesn't really surprise me because I never believed in that TK roster. I just felt like Neslo was their best player, and when they dropped Neslo, I just never felt TK was that good of a team. They did some good things, like as far as they would go down 0-2 and then they would make a comeback and eke out wins and whatnot. But I just never felt like they were a top 3 team. I always felt like once Neslo left, they were like a top 8 team at most. So that showing really didn't surprise me. And then SB, they had a pretty good run. I think they came in 4th. And SB, I think they're an up and coming team. It just seemed like the stage and the pressure and expectations sort of got to them a little bit. And but a top 4 at COD Champs is nothing to sneeze at. And I want to congratulate Complexity, even though I think their contribution to esports is that they're the evil empire. Basically, the players tend to be sort of obnoxious, or I don't know how they are in person, like in their personal life, but as far as their public image is very obnoxious, very rude. And even TP got into it a little bit, and TP was one of my favorite players. He was very humble, but he was talking some smack towards Optic as far as their skill level, and that I forgot the exact quote, but he said some derogatory things towards Optic, which I found that really out of character for TP. Obviously, like something coming from Crim6 or X, it's sort of expected, but TP, I was really surprised. And even though I respect their skill level as a team, I really don't like them that much. And so, but still, congratulations to Complexity. They've strung championships at an unbelievable rate that's never been seen before in Call of Duty. So I think the event went very successful. The streams were good. There were a couple of times there were some streaming issues. I think the capacity got overloaded. The viewership was too high, and it went down a couple of times. But otherwise, it was really good. And overall, it was a great tournament. Again, will there be roster mania? Was it 3 now or 4 after COD Champs? I don't know. I have a feeling there will be some significant roster changes. I think there's a lot of teams that weren't happy with the results that they got. So we'll see what happens. As far as Optic making roster changes, I'm not really sure. They did come in top 3, but again, the difference between like what I noticed is you need 2 quality slayers on your team. And you have Scumpy as an elite slayer, but Embos and Nadeshot, they're not. They're very good search and destroy players, but they're just not very good at their slaying capability. And I noticed when they lost Sovereign Dom against Complexity on the second side, they lost almost every single like one-on-one battle. Anyways, see you guys later. Bye.